Hello my friends, today looks to be a wonderful day to explore some cavettes, hunt for some clay and some temper for an upcoming special project I'm going to be working on. We're out here near Camp Verde, ready to have a good old time. So let's get right to it. Oh, this is always such a fun drive up here to Camp Verde. Oh wow, there seems to be quite an accumulation of pottery sherds around this bush. That is so cool. What a special area this is in the Verde Valley, home of the Sinagua, the Native Americans that lived here hundreds of years ago. Mysteriously though, the people left the Verde Valley around the 1400s, and researchers still aren't able to explain why. There's a lot of theories, however, from social conflict to environmental changes, but no one really knows for sure. Whatever the cause was, they sure left one amazing legacy throughout the lands around here. Probably the most famous ruins around the Verde Valley is the Tuzigut Pueblo that had about 110 rooms atop a hill. And of course, we can't forget the famous Montezuma's Castle. But that's not why I'm here today. I'm here to visit these cavettes. I've been wanting to check these out for quite some time, and today's the day I'm gonna do that. And since I'm out here in the Verde Valley, it's gonna be an excellent time to hunt down some clay for this special Olla project that I'm gonna be working on. So it looks like it's the best time to explore these cavettes and see what all the talk's about. Oh, I feel like a giant in here. Ooh, yikes. Oh. No, this is just one of the rooms. Just absolutely breathtaking in here. The imagination can just go wild. What a beautiful view. There's some kind of a large pit over here. I wonder what this could have been used for. Well, this room is a more friendly room for me. I've got actually some height in here. This is beautiful. Oh man. Well, the ceiling is just so full of carbon. Must have been some cooking going on up in this area. This is just breathtaking. What a spectacular view. Oh, they sure lived the good life up here, that's for certain. Oh, neat. There's a few remnants of sherds around. I haven't seen too many yet, but this is a good sign to see. There's a lot of Wingfield brownware around here. This one's particularly interesting. That looks like some Verde redware right there. They always really buff that stuff up really good. It's always super smooth, really beautiful. Well, our quest is about to continue as we search for some clay now. All right, guys, so I decided to take a quick detour before looking for some clay and check out some ruins in a nearby hill. I thought you guys might be interested in this. So let's go take a look at these real quick before we head back out to look for some clay. Man, this is always so fascinating. These are some pretty jagged rocks too. Wow. Wow, just check this really cool piece of Verde brownware that I just found. Look how thick it is. You can always tell it's brownware from the Verde just by its thickness. It's really smooth on this side, really rough on this side, but you can actually feel where the anvil hit when they were using the paddle and anvil on to make this. That is a really beautiful piece. We're just gonna leave that behind though. Thought I would show you guys. And there it is. What a beautiful reminder out here. Boy, there's just so many rocks here. This must have been quite a structure in its prime. This looks like a little room. Oh wow, just check out this beautiful piece of Verde redware out. Oh my goodness. What? Oh wow, look how thick that is. This is a super cool one. Oh, that is so smooth, even on both sides. Oh, wow. That is really cool. These ruins sure didn't disappoint, did they? It's so beautiful. I just love seeing things like this. It's always important to leave everything just the way you see it. This is such a beautiful legacy that the Sinagua have left us, and we should always be respectful when visiting such ruins. All right, guys. Time's not my friend today. It's still winter, so we got less daylight. Let's go start looking for some clay for this project. Oh, this is pretty cool. Some snake shed. Wonder what that one belonged to. Look at a long, skinny guy. Probably a racer of some kind. Oh, that's cool. All right, this looks good. There's quite a bit of roots in here. But oh man, once we levitate this stuff, this might be just what I need right here. Oh, it's so cold. But oh yeah, this looks good. And these roots. I'm gonna take some of this with me. We're off to a good start with finding this clay. All right, that should do it. Let's cover this up, make it look a little bit more natural. I think we got enough. Oh, nice. This is one of my old clay spots. When I first started looking for clay, this was the best I could find. This works, but man, it is like very difficult to build with. But it dries good, and I've never had this stuff crack, but it is very difficult to work with. So I think I'm going to pass on this, but it is always nice to walk by an old clay site. Maybe we'll grab a few. What the heck, we're here. For old time's sake, let's just grab a little bit. All right, I know I came here for brown clay, but we're just gonna grab a little bit of this. I don't want to regret getting home and being like, oh boy. You know, I should have grabbed some of that clay that I'm probably not gonna use, but that's how it is. So we're just gonna grab a little bit of it. There's actually some neat coloring too on it. But every time I fired it, it's got like a creamy white it turns into. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Uh-oh. Don't need that twig. Oh, come on. Just a little bit more. Yeah, this will do it. All right. That's plenty. That'll make us a nice little bowl. Ooh. What's this here? Yeah. Oh no. It's kind of soft. Well, I didn't come here for rocks, but these hobbies go hand in hand, don't they? Huh. Wow, look at this interesting rock right here. Just looks like some crazy oatmeal. This is kind of an interesting source. There sure is a lot of this greenish colored clay out here. You can see right above it though. Oh man. Look at that. I'm going to collect a few more samples of that, and I think I'm going to call it a day. I've got a bunch of clay that I've collected, and that means we got a bunch of stuff to process and see if any of it's even going to work. Ooh, that's an interesting looking rock. Oh, it's a piece of shirt. Pretty cool. We'll just leave you behind though, my little friend. All right guys, we're on day 2 in Camp Verde. This is the last stop. I'm out here to collect some temper for the use in that new clay that I found so I can start working on that Olla. I'm super excited. This is a pretty good spot. I've been here in the past when I was doing some rock hounding. That rock hounding sure comes in handy when it comes for hunting down these supplies, that's for certain. The type of temper I'm looking for out here contains quite a bit of feldspar, and this is a really good spot for that. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that really quickly, and then we're going to head back down the hill. All right, so this is some pretty good stuff here. I've had a chance to test this out in a recent firing, and I've had really successful results with it. I was really happy. It says a lot of feldspar in it, so this is good. It does not really contain any pyrite, which is a huge bonus. You never really want pyrite in your pottery. And I've made this little screener. It's kind of a little handy, just a box, taped it up. And I have some screen here. I've got my bag right here. It doesn't get much easier than this. Just grab a bunch of sand and toss this all on in here. Oh boy, it's still a little bit wet though. That's always got to make something difficult. But here we go. We start sifting this around. Just keep sifting it around. And make sure you're getting it in the bag. That would really be a helpful thing right here. And you can see we got a nice, good size. All right guys, so we got our temper, we got our clay. I think we got everything we need. We're ready to start heading back down the hill now. So I'll see you back at the studio. Well, I've gone through and processed pretty much all the clay that I found on this recent trip. So I've also taken the extra step and fired all the clay that I've processed as well. So now I know what kind of colors I'm going to be working with. I've got quite a number of different colors that it produced the clay. I wasn't expecting some of these results though. I made here a little pinch pot. This is using some of the clay from the first stop that I went on, and it was a nice brown, but just look at the color that it fired to. This is a really light beige. This one right here was a nice gray, but just look at the color that it fired to. That is another beige, almost the same color, but this one's just a little bit lighter. So I don't think this one's gonna work out either, unfortunately. And this clay right here, it cracked in half when I was drying. I didn't add enough temper, unfortunately, but the color is all that matters. And this has a nice light brown to it. This is a beautiful color. This is definitely something I'm gonna have to go back for one of these days and get a little bit more, because this is a really nice color. Unfortunately though, it's still not quite the color I'm looking for this jar that I'm gonna be making. And lastly, one of those stops. Just look at how nice and dark brown this one is. Oh, this one's beautiful. I think this one's the winner right here. I collected enough samples of all of these clays to make at least one jar, so I've got enough for this. I'll have to process the clay completely and get ready for the next step. This guy right here is definitely going to be the winner. So what's the next step? All I've got to do now is process the clay, turn it into actual workable clay, and get started on this jar. But that'll be in the next video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed hunting around for the clay for this Sinagua jar that I'm going to be making. It sure was a lot of fun, and visiting those ruins was spectacular, I think. I want to thank you guys for all the wonderful feedback and positive response that you've given me on my last couple videos that I've done. It really means a lot to me. So thanks so much to everybody who's left a comment. All right, my friends, I hope to see you in the next video when I actually make this jar. Till next time,